exponents, particularly powers, and writing powers of powers, and expressing numbers in expanded form. There's really three things that we're looking at specifically for today. The first thing is writing each expression using exponents. So writing an expression using exponents. So if I had something like 5 times 5 times 5, how could I write that using exponents? Kevin?
5 to the second power.
5 to the what?
Second power.
How many 5s are there?
Oh, third power.
There you go. So 5 to the third power. Something like that. It also works with letters, so if I have like A times A times A times A, how could I write that? Joby?
A to the fourth power.
Yeah. What if I had something like 3 times 3 times A times A times A? How could I rewrite that? Natalia? Yeah, something like that. What if I do something like y times y in parentheses times y in parentheses times y in parentheses. A little bit trickier. Kevin?
It's probably like y to the second power times y to the second power times y to the second power.
That seems, what you said was right. Y to the second, y to the second, y to the second. It's a little redundant though. Aiden? Y to the sixth power. These parentheses can kind of be ignored here because we're multiplying everything together. Y times y times y times y times y times y. So really, the exponent is just telling us how many times to multiply that number. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 being multiplied, so I have y to the 6. So that is the first kind of being able to write numbers that have been expanded like that, writing them using exponents. The second thing is expressing a number in expanded form. Now this is an area that tends to be a problem area, but it's really just place value. So if I give you a number like 516, to start us off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the place value for each of these numbers. There is a 5 in the hundreds place, so there's a 500. Then there is 1 in the tens place, and then a 6 in the ones place. So you can see if you added those three things up, it would give you 516. If we're expanding it, we can rewrite each of these to a power. So 5 times 100 is the same. We do 1 times 10, or 6 times 1. And instead of, and all this is identifying the place value. There is a 5 in the hundreds place, a 1 in the tens place, a 6 in the ones place. That's all it is. We can actually take this one step further when we expand it and actually use exponents to represent our tens. We have a base 10 system, which is why this works. So we can have 5 times 10 to the second power, 2 zeros, second power, 10 times 10 is 100. 1 times 10 to the 1, anything times 1 is itself. And then 6 times 10 to the 0, anything times 0 is 1. So if I ever ask you, express the number in expanded form, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 5 times 10 squared plus 1 times 10 to the first plus 6 times 10 to the 0. Now that looks like a lot. And to be honest, this is the longest way to do this problem. There are shortcuts, and we will look at those. For example, if I have the number 3,845, and I want to write that in expanded form, I'm going to start with the 3. I know it's in the thousands place, so I'm just going to skip this step. I already know that my 3 is in the thousands place, so I'm just going to do 3 times 1,000. And if I add that to 8 times 100, my 8 is in the hundreds place. And I add that to 4 times 10, because my 4 is in the tens place. And then account for the 5 in the ones place. All my numbers have been accounted for. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write them using the exponents. The powers of 10. 3 times 10 to the 1 2/3 plus 8 times 10 to the second, 4 times 10 to the 1, and 5 times 10 to the 0. The neat thing about our base 10 system is that each of these can be identified really quickly. This is in the ones place because it goes over 0 number of tens. This is the number in the 10 spot because it goes over 1 10. This is in the 100 spot because it goes over 2 place values. And this is in the thousands place because it goes over the 3 place values. Let's try one more. Actually, let's do a couple more like that. Try this one on your own. 8,517. Write that in expanded form. Anybody think they got it? Anna?
8 times 10 to the third plus 5 times 10 to the second plus 1 times 10 to the first plus 7 times 10 to the
Just like this? Perfect. Anybody see a shortcut here? Like even another shortcut that you could do? Julian?
Oh, this is 3 by thinking of 8, which is going to get it over the first again.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
One's place would be that
Yeah, this is what I'm hearing you say. So if you start here at the 7, you could just put a 0 as a that'll be the place value for the 7, right? Because it's always whatever number is here is always times 10 to the 0. So it's 5 times 10 to the 0. Up here it was 6 times 10 to the 0. Here it's 7 times 10 to the 0. So you start with the 0, then you go 1, then 2, then 3. Those are going to be exponents for your 10. So then it's just going to be 8 times 10 to the third, 5 times 10 to the 2, 1 times 10 to the 1, and 7 times 10 to the 0. So good. That's just another way of kind of looking at those problems. The last thing that you'll be asked to do is evaluate. So evaluate the expression and then I'll tell you that like A will be 3 and B will be like, I don't know, -5. So then when I say evaluate 3A squared, all you're going to do there is do 3 times your A is 3, squared. So then you'll do 3 squared, which gives you 9. 9 times 3 gives you 27. You'll also have problems like B to the 4th power. Try that one on your own. B to the 4th power. Anybody think they got it? Alexis?
Okay, I don't know if I have this right or not, but my calculator said -625.
So her calculator said negative, what, 625?
Oh, wait, no.
Because what you did was you said, well, your B is -5, so you did -5 to the 4th power, right? Is that what this is saying? Now think back to what we talked about earlier today with the negative and the parentheses. Lena?
Basically, my calculator with parentheses and -5 and
Sure. Yeah, and here's what this is saying. You've got B to the 4th power. It means you're going to multiply B times itself 4 times. So this will be B times B times B times B. So if you plug in -5 there, it'll be -5 times -5 times -5 times -5. Your answer has to be positive because there's an even number of negatives. So in order to multiply -5 times itself, you have to put parentheses around it. When you do that, it changes it to a positive 625.